Let's go. Let's do some promotions first. We are gonna be in the movement.
Nice. We don't have the schedule yet, or the lineup schedule yet, but as soon as we find out, get up time to meet.
That's gonna be great.
I think there's something wrong with my headset. It's like sorted.
Let's show up today.
Yesterday, you can go on StreamYard. Events, the loop, play J-Bot, and you can go to StreamYard and watch it.
Yeah, you can be in backstage. You have to
You can be in the backstage. Stay on the backstage.
I've tried 1,000 tries, and there may be other guys. I'll never compromise, and now I realize there may be other guys. I'll never compromise. I've tried 1,000 tries, and now I realize I've tried 1,000 tries.
All right. Happy Monday, everybody. So how's everybody doing? It's Monday again, the guys next door, and welcome to another episode. This week we don't have any guests. You probably didn't see any promo, but we always do this in the middle of the season. So it's our mid-season recap, guys. So how are you guys doing? I mean, it's been a fun first half of the season, right? So how do you guys feel?
These are like my not really favorite, but I look forward to our recap episodes. Like last season, we had the middle season and the end of the season. It's always fun to look back at what we have spoke about and all the guests that we had. Happy Easter Monday to you both. Hopefully everything's going well. Yeah, this is an exciting day, and we'll have a surprise too
Yeah.
for you today.
Well, before we get into the mid-season recap, let's just start by asking how. I mean, yes, happy Easter to DJ Pat. If you're asking me how my Easter went, very like the usual. Easter we got a family brunch. All my kids are home over the weekend, so we went out and then spend the whole day together. One thing we have done is everybody's now playing mahjong. So everybody learned like that, including Grace. So I always learned play mahjong growing up, but I bought a mahjong set, and then on the mahjong set, my other son Ethan taught them how to do it. They actually did the shorter version, not the version that I know when I was growing up. And Gus, I know you play mahjong too. I mean, it's different, right? So they learned that, while I cook dinner for them at night. So everybody's now know how to play mahjong.
Do they do the Chinese one or
The Chinese one. So I
the
bought a
Filipino
mahjong set.
Chinese one?
Well,
Okay, so
that's a good question. They learned the Chinese one because I think the Chinese one has different rule on the Filipino one, right? The
yeah, they
Filipino
use
one is
everything. Yeah,
yeah, the
yeah.
Filipino one's the one I got used to. So there's a little bit of confusion there, but I think for me the Chinese one is easier. Do you think?
It has lots of things because you have the northeast, southwest. They play
Yeah,
all characters, right? So, yeah.
yeah. So
But the
yeah,
Pinoy
that's why.
version one is it's easier for me the Pinoy version one than the Chinese one.
Well,
The
there
other way
is a
around.
version. How about you, DJ Pat? Do you know how to play mahjong?
No,
When you get here, we're gonna play. That's now the new
uh,
norm. Like
that
we're gonna
that
play.
that used to be a big thing here with the here in our town with Gus and all the when the parents used to visit, it was a big thing. Like it would take hours really. And also the last two cruises I went to, there's always a Filipino
Cruises.
or a Chinese family playing mahjong in the library or in some of the public areas. That's pretty cool to
Oh,
see.
nice, nice. So that's really my our weekend, and it's pretty slow, right? You usually the Holy Week, just chilling out, relax. Play a lot of golf last week too, so that's really what how my weekend is. How
How
about you,
about-
DJ Pet?
yeah, well, yeah, just had an Easter gathering, and a lot of we're doing a lot of work preparing for a graduation here at home. So a lot of prepping for that. Uh, and it was good to see everyone, or like a sort of a reunion. The kids from college are back home, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I saw Gus on Saturday, and I haven't seen him in a long time. And Gus, have you been playing golf, or how's your weekend?
No, no, haven't even played golf yet. The clubs were still in the basement. So yeah, it was a
It's
fun
time.
weekend. My eldest came back. So yeah, she went here on Saturday also, right? No,
Nice.
Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah,
Saturday, right?
yeah.
Mm.
So
She drove up.
Saturday. Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
well, well, Gus, you have to get those clubs out in 4 weeks. I'll be there in 4 weeks, so you have to play. So that's those to Gus house. I'll play your clubs. You play the same clubs. I don't
How
care.
about
So
a walking talk show while you guys play golf?
that'll be fun. It's a
I'll
lot of
bring a
this is,
Uh,
I'll bring a
that's a lot
three
of curse.
can bring
There's a lot of cursing.
a lot of
That's a
cursing,
lot of
but we can
yeah.
bring wireless microphones and a 360 cam, and then we're good to
That would be
go.
nice, and then just
I can
vlog it.
bring my what's that? My Mevo. I can bring my Mevo.
Bring the Mevo, hook it up to one of the bags, and we should be good to go. My son
Uh,
actually played so much in the past 2 weeks, even in the cold. So it's a good start, I think, for the season. So
yeah, yeah. I taking
yes.
advantage of it. Like last week, I played, you know, twice last week, so that was great. That was great. But yeah, glad that you all have a great weekend. And then thank you also for our regulars here. We got Virgil, we got Jay, and we got a surprise later for Jay. So right now, it's really about how what we want to focus this week is really all the topics, all our guests, all the diversity that we have brought in um this season, right? And we always do this, and to your point, DJ Pat, this has always been fun to take a look back, who our guests are and how are the topics. And comparing to last season, I think it's very diverse, right? And honestly, I was blown away by the ride so far.
Mm, agree.
Um, yeah, I mean, over the past few months, we've connected with a lot of DJs, content creators, and community leaders across Twitch and even beyond, right? From like music producers, underground veterans, the OGs of DJing, tech savvy newcomers, other genre bending artists that are also passionate community builders. I think each guest brought their own story, their own flavor, and their own like unique style to the table for this show. And I'm happy you were able to show that. And all of our episodes are in YouTube. If you have not watched them, you should check them out. I think it's been a great ride, and I think we should be all watching a lot of us. But in this episode, what I really want to dive into are the themes, the stories, the personal transformation. We talk about mental health, community empowerment, navigating between art and their own identity, right? We also gonna probably talk about the tension between the old school and the new school, if there's any.
Hmm.
We talk about talent versus branding at some point, and that came up multiple episode, and also how gatekeeping is still showing up in today's scene. So we're gonna touch a lot of those. We go to the guest recap from 13 episodes from this season, right? So hopefully, the viewers are still there. I know we don't have like the usual guests, but I think it's going to be a good topic to talk about that, and I hope viewers will love it. Okay.
Yeah, we need you, the viewers, to chime in. Send us your chat. Any opinions are welcome, obviously. And
Right.
this is your chance to, because we don't have, when we have guests, we don't have time to read all the messages. Now you get the
Exactly.
chance to opinion. Bring it out today.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is really going to help us, right? Going to help us get into what we want to do in the next second half of the season, and going forward. And you guys, what I mean, before we start, I mean, can you remember an episode that you're excited about? Like, if you can recall one.
I think I mean, I skipped a lot of episodes first of all. So, but the interesting one for me was DJ Amy Alexander. I think
Yes.
instead of being a host on that one, it's like me listening to her, the way she talks. It's like I learned a lot of things in there. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and we're gonna touch more about that. Yeah, and she is a great, guest, right? She can talk. I think she's very polished, very polite. I would like to get her, another time wherein we just talk about how she's doing so far and how she said she's gonna attack Twitch, right? Her
Mm.
whole plan, right? Because she has that all laid out. So we're gonna talk more about that. So let's just get into the recap, right? So and talk about them. So we're gonna talk about first our pilot episode for this season, right? Our pilot episode this season was with Technocat, right? So I think Technocat, Bay Area DJ, founder of the Houses of Feeling team on Twitch. I think that set the tone for this season, right? What we're expecting, right? We talked about navigating to Twitch, right? How you conquer Twitch, how you create a supportive community. But also, one of the things that struck me there, how you actually use the platform to navigate mental health challenges. I think it helped her a lot, right? And we always, said that Twitch is more of uh, a getaway from your real life. And sometimes, if you want to forget issues, problem, you go to Twitch, talk to your friends, chat about them, and just listen to music. And that's where Twitch is known for uplifting, people and each other too, helping streamers push towards, this their mental health problems, right? And I know, Pat, you had you brought in somebody from last season about dealing with mental health, and
Mm.
then where I think his platform was YouTube, but now we're
Mm.
saying Twitch is also that
A
platform.
lot of similarities to both stories. We had Brandon Coleman last season. Obviously, Technocat. I don't wanna botch her story, but it was a great story. It was like Brandon. It was an up and down story. And
Mhm.
my question to you guys is: you guys think she found Twitch, or Twitch found her, or it's we
That's a
can
very
we
good question.
we can say Twitch saved her, or she saved herself by finding this platform, and we don't know the answer to that, I guess. But
Yes, yes,
you know,
yeah. But the common theme there is, you found your community on Twitch, and she's been streaming a lot. She formed a new team, and she got that support that she needed, right? Which is also true from other streamers, right? We talk to other streamers wherein, like, it saved them, right?
mm,
And really they found the budget found Technocat. Perfect timing. There she is.
there she's.
So yeah, but like we were just talking about the first episode, and the first episode really um it really set up the tone for the show. It sets up the table for
What a
all
start!
different
What a
stories.
start
Yeah.
to the season having Technocat. I was pleasantly surprised, and that we our show was really really impactful to
Yeah.
even to us hosts, really.
Yeah. and that just sends up the tone also for other viewers that found NBHD and also TGND. And we love Kat from that for that, right? And Kat has always been, a big supporter of NBHD, and we're also want to support her on any of her endeavor. And also part of that discussion is also she actually
Mm.
taught us that we can conquer Twitch if you want to push for partner. There are ways,
Hmm.
um, and
Mhm.
we're saying ways. There are things that she can help out. Like one is helping out by using the community. I think the community, what she said is like, you need an army, and I think with your family, with your community, you have an army to back you up. I think she opened that up to everybody, and kudos to her for helping that out. Hi, Grace May speaking next. If you can get her to commit for more hours, we will definitely push for that. But I think she's lurking right now. She's doing some chores. But yes, hopefully, Kat, hopefully.
Maybe,
There she is.
maybe, yeah, maybe a face-to-face meeting between Grace and
Yeah,
Technocat
maybe, Kat, you
There
in
should
a
you
go
go.
very
straight to her, not you and me.
in a more private setting. Then
In
we
the
can clear
moment,
they can clear things up on the expectations and of how to be a partner.
yep. And that really is the season opener, and after that, it was fire, fire. Every episode after that, like it's just different stories, and that brought us into another support on season 2 with Uncle Polly. Now, Uncle Polly, we know he's from Canada, from Ottawa, right? Uncle Polly with an NBC is gone since the beginning, right? So she's also been a big supporter. But for him also, he used Twitch as an outlet, but at the same time also he's passionate of growing it and helping others too. We talk about him mentoring kids, right?
Mm.
And then using the platform, not just Twitch, but being a DJ uh, to help kids, right? On that scenario, and she like any other Twitch streamers, like he wants to he's going to Twitch because he genuinely feel that everybody's authentic, everybody's a nice person. We always said that every episode, and that's where he found the family in Twitch. What can you remember, Gus, on Uncle Polly's? Except for JFP being the guest, because I know we went a little bit politics there, and that's probably the last one we went deep
The
in
most
politics.
political episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more of like he's helping also the community, right? I think he's like this organization that people, that's where he got his name from, right? Uncle Polly.
Yeah, he's everybody's
For the
uncle,
kids.
right?
Yep, yeah.
Yep. And I think that's what makes his story unique also, because not just really on Twitch, but just what he has done on the community outside of Twitch and
So
how he
this
wants to do it.
so this is like an NBA player, right? You do what you do in the court, and what you do outside the court kind of solidifies your legacy as a person. So
Right.
very similar. Like Uncle Paulie's been doing a good job in over there in Canada, also performing on Twitch. So I see some.
And yeah, he has a lot of like IRL lately.
Mm,
It's been doing right
I
with
see that.
his buddy Wham Bam, right? And I
Yeah.
think Wham Bam is coming back, so I see him getting back his Friday show. So hopefully we can get him on the next couple of seasons, not couple of episodes too, because I think Wham Bam has his own story to tell also. But look, just want to say hi to who's on the chat right now. We got Virgil, we got Brian Richards, who's going to be on the show 2 weeks from now.
Oh,
So
hey,
I'm
Brian.
excited for that too, right? So we got Grace here, we got Technocat, and also just I don't want to ruin it, but I'm so excited. I know the Pope died today. We have the conclave. We're trying to get Father Damien for everybody, but timing is not correct. But we do have Father Damien on the show soon. Just watch out for that. That'll be interesting. Gus and I are gonna be very, gonna be behaving
You
for
be
that. But
very holy. You will be
I
very.
might stop talking because I'm just gonna let DJ Pat do that because I don't know what to say with
Listen,
Father.
he said yes to you last night. The Pope was still
Yes,
alive,
it
so
was
we
Paul was still
we
alive.
don't
Even
know.
though
We
he
didn't
could
know
have
this
got
was
it
gonna happen.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we didn't know this
exactly.
was gonna happen. So, and
It's funny.
we already planned. You already planned this recap episode a couple of weeks ago. So,
It's
yeah.
funny. We were texting, and Gus said, this morning when I woke up on our chat, right? Because last night I said, "Oh, I got Father Damien in the show," and I think that was the last time that Gus saw the chat. And then this morning, what? The Pope died, and we got Father Damien. That's a perfect time, not today.
He thought it.
He thought we got Father Damien. That would be very
But you
interesting.
know what? It could happen that the conclave is wrapping up when he gets. Hopefully, when he gets on our show, the conclave is wrapping up and about to announce the new
Oh,
pope. Maybe,
Oh, that
maybe
yeah.
the timing would
that
even be better.
that would be great. Yeah, I just don't know if we need to rename like no dumb questions to like. I just feel like it's weird to ask that from Father
Yeah,
Damien.
how do you
Uh,
ask a priest that one? Like,
I know that we have to
no
change that.
question.
Yeah, and we have to find out. We have to prepare for that. Well, that would be
Listen,
very,
listen,
very
listen.
interesting.
I went to an all boys Catholic school, and the school chaplain was one of the boys. All the conversations was just like normal stuff to this priest. I don't know how Father Damien's gonna react to us, but hopefully he will meet us in the middle.
Oh my god,
And
I don't know if I could speak, dude. I'm telling you, like if there is one episode that I'll probably be very nervous, is that with Father Damien. We'll see.
you'll be
I do have
fine.
a question. I have a preset question for Father Damien. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
That will be the time. Gus will be
but
very
I don't know if
interesting.
it's true or not. Like, does all priests has they're okay to have one vice or something? Because like drinking or was that doing cigar or something, right?
Okay.
Twitch probably is a one vice, right?
Is it? Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
It
yeah.
could
We
be.
should,
It could be.
yeah, maybe, right? I don't know. We're probably gonna ask Father Damien there, but
I'll go
let's stay
back.
tuned for that.
I'll go back to my all boys school, Catholic school
Uh
days.
oh.
These priests, we go to their when we see their kitchen, they have the most expensive liquor you can find.
Mm, yeah.
Oh,
So
really?
I'll just leave it at that. And also, Gus, you should ask because your wife told me on Good Friday that you did not take a shower. And
Is that like what
is
your
that a
penitence?
sacrifice that someone
Yeah.
does on Good Friday? Is that a tradition?
Well, dude,
I don't know.
really?
Huh? No, I know the tradition is like the wound is easier
So
to
fresh.
heal on that.
Fresh.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
So you
oh.
shouldn't
yeah,
shower. So that's
So,
your that
yeah.
is the tradition. That
so,
is
so, so yeah.
the
People.
old. Now for the audience, I know there's a lot of Filipinos in the audience. What do you remember? As far as traditions during Holy Week, I remember going to Pampanga, which is
Yep.
your hometown in Magalang, Pampanga. There
People
was
get
a
crucified.
feast on Good Friday. All the meat you can eat, everything was laid out, and we just ate. And
You
that's
know
their own
why?
tradition. And it's gonna be different in the next town, in the
Yeah,
next
we go
province.
you go from town to town, and it's called
On
the
Right.
Friday, you
pabasa.
mean?
Pabasa. No,
Yeah,
yeah,
this was
you
Good
go to
Friday.
pabasa.
We went to the town center in the basketball court. All the food was laid out, all kinds of meat.
Spread. Yeah, and
Nothing
every
was
town is
off
different.
limits.
Every town is different. They
And you
offer
go to the
something.
next town, it's quiet, nobody's outside. It's just
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you know why people are gonna get also getting crucified that day?
they
Like
are.
real
Yeah,
crucified, right?
they are.
They're doing like the whole like Passion of Christ thing, right?
Yeah.
So they
Yes.
get actually nailed on the cross. That's the penitence, right?
Yes.
So
I've seen
that's
that.
the
I've
difference,
seen
right?
that.
For people, that's how they pay for their sin. They get crucified. Gus does don't take a shower.
No showers. Yes.
That's actually a sacrifice that he's willing to do. Getting crucified and not taking a shower. So just let everyone know that that's what it is.
All I know is the Saturday one that you can get like anting anting, right? Because that's the time that
What's something? like what
Like
Explain.
the what do you call that?
Amulet.
amulet with
Amulet,
powers,
amulet.
right? Yeah,
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 yeah, with
with
powers.
powers.
Yeah.
You get powers on Saturday too.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might
That's why if you don't get a shower, you get powers. Yeah, you get killy
so
powers because you fucking smell.
so you smell, you attract the evil side, you get the
Yeah,
powers from the
the
evil side
power
Yeah.
of
because
repel
Jesus
because
is
you
dead
smell.
and you get the amulet. Perfect.
Awesome. All right. So enough of Gus not taking a shower. We go to week number 3. Right, I look. Our friend from the Pacific Northwest. His a lot. There's that episode. Far as I can remember, there's a lot of. We learned a lot from there, just on the what iLook has been doing, like on the education side, right? So
Mhm.
she said all the policies that she wants to do to help kids use technology as a
Mhm.
part of learning, right? And not just technology, but also the fun thing about that is she said that her DJ career started on Twitch. She translate that to teaching, and not just teaching, but also performing for a lot of conference. Isn't that cool? Like how I looked progresses to that,
My
right?
that is my main takeaway from that episode, that she can mix her job
Yep.
with her DJing career, put them together, but package them in a way that it teaches, it educates the people in the conference or in the company party or in the meeting on what this kind of music is, and they get to enjoy it. She prepares her set in a way that these people will enjoy and dance to the music. That was the main takeaway. But obviously, there's so much to unpack with the
Yeah.
I think this was the time when the Department of Education funding was being threatened. And I kind of
Absolutely.
asked an opinion from
Yeah.
her. Obviously, she didn't want to go too deep into it being in public service, but we learned so much from iLuke that day.
Yeah, and another thing that she said there also that kind of resonated with me is how she used all the stories or all the challenges, all things that she learned on Twitch, like whether it's starting with small, starting to learn mixing, starting to get over, viewership, right? As part of what he teaches to the kids, right? As instant life, right? In
Mm,
life, all our challenges when we start on Twitch, right? The patience, the all like hair pulling issues that we encounter, and also the challenges of hey, why am I not getting a lot of viewers? I think that's all true in real life. When you get past it, that's how you succeed in life too, because that's all learning experience, and she translate that, and even just the learning of mixing, right? She said there was one conference that she did explain the theory of of her learning how to mix compared to learning as a whole. So that really is a good conversation, and aside from that is really her stories now getting IRL gigs, right? And then, of course, we talk about her flexing the gears. Who can forget the gears that he has right now? Yeah, off white DDJ 1000, like very rare, and then upgraded to new CDJs 3000. So that's a good flex, for our friend Ilog, and she can rock it too. So uh, I think
I think
what.
she can adapt to these equipment. I think the other day on her Instagram, I think she used an S11 mixer, which is you know
Mhm.
apples to oranges difference from the DJMs, and I'm sure she rocked it. Pretty cool.
Yeah, Virgil, to answer your question, it's still in the cart. That's not gonna get out of there.
Where
The
is
3000.
Grace? Oh, that
Yep,
needs to
still in the shopping cart. Yep. Um,
dude.
another thing.
Watch out! Canon just announced they're gonna raise prices. It's only a matter of time. All these companies, Japanese or Chinese, are gonna raise their prices.
Oh my
Maybe it's
god.
time to pick one up.
No, dude. I can't. I can't. Believe me. I wanted to. It's very tempting.
It
But
is
another
very
thing,
expensive. It's very expensive.
another thing, I think, Gus, that I remember during that conversation is she said her age, right? And we call it
Yeah.
Club 50. Yeah, but they say, age, technology doesn't matter on Twitch.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
It's not too late to learn anything. And like every people who learned late in life with DJ, like Grace, right? She learned
Mm.
late. She didn't know it's just a passion. So I think that's also tells us, never, never, um, uh, you know, give up on anything and any of your everything's possible. Okay, Pat.
She's very proud of her age. She actually
Yep,
advertises
I
Mhm.
love it.
the
I
big
love it.
50, but
And
she
then
doesn't
she
look any day older than 37.
True. Yeah.
no shit. I'm in trouble. I'm not saying you're old. You're
Grace is
seasoned.
also one of
You're
those very young.
you're seasoned. Yeah, like a fine wine. And Cat, please do not indulge that. Right? You know with that one.
Oh, there's gonna be a petition.
A petition. No, no, no fucking way. I'm done with those. It's gonna be pressure.
Dang,
All right.
that thing's expensive.
And then yeah, and then we got to the house cats, our friends from Hilton Head, South Carolina. Those are a fun group. Like what we said on Ilex, never too late. These are also a testament of that, right? They're just newcomers on Twitch and also on DJ, right? They're neighbors, right? They live next to each other. Only one of them knows how to DJ, and they found Twitch, right?
Mm,
And then from then on, instead of hanging out drinking in the pool with them, you know what? Why do we all do Twitch? And they form a group, and that's just represent that the community building aspect of Twitch. You can do it and the inclusivity. Um, they all learn later in life, but they are fully committed to Twitch and their family update they want to bring. So um, they have different backgrounds too, right? So Wolfenden and Jer Bear are LGBTQ, right? And they were built actually very passionate when we talked about that. And I think what strikes me more on that is where they come from, like in the South. It's not as easy as us from here in the Northeast, how that is, but
hmm
it's for them to get over that and live there, and then just the scrutiny, right? And then what they're fighting for. And we actually got a lot of supporters on the chat during that time. Got a lot. That's probably one of the time that we had one of the most bits ever on the show,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they were just cheering because like our community supports that community, and we are very very proud to have them part of NBHD too, and just refreshing to see newcomers that are very passionate and just go at it. Those are the house cats, and Brian Richards is also a big fan of them. That's DJ Snappy, DJ Bonds, Wolf, and then Jer Bear. I love them, and they've been very supportive with the NBHD and TGND after that. So kudos to them. What do you remember during that, Gus? Are you there? Did you miss
No,
that one?
I
Oh,
skipped that. I
that's
skipped
right.
that
We
one.
skipped that one.
Wait, both
Um,
of us were not there. Are we? Yeah. But I
all
watched. I
right.
watched. I
Yeah,
watched
no,
the
no,
episode.
you were there. You were there, but you went for the Beyond the Neighborhood. I was with Andrew. We danced this one
Andrew.
during
Okay.
that one. Yeah,
But yeah. Yeah.
yeah. We because Andrew is also a good friend of them, and I think we talk about a lot of their journey. It's funny. The Wolf is hammered because he
Mm,
has been drinking a lot during that, and we chatted afterwards. But again, a fine community, and another great story. Like they're newcomers on Twitch. They just fuck it, we'll do it.
right.
Um, there's no judgment of how you do mixing, how you do this. It's just pure fun, and then just a family that just plays music and hang out together on Sundays.
Don't
That's just a
you?
represent. Yeah,
It kind of reminds me of how we
how
started.
we started
Like
exactly. That's how we started.
family, friends. Although we're not in the same zip code, we did this together. We
I,
did this
I,
Mhm.
together.
And that's really what got me on that show, was like all the stories that they have is similar to how the three plus Grace, four of us went through, right? We just say, fuck it, we're just gonna do it. What is watch Twitch? I know our cousin Elmer's been asking us, hey guys, watch me on Twitch. What is it? The two of you guys are DJing, and that he's DJing. All right, let's see. I remember the first discussion that we had before NBHD, or even before we started. Like, my first question, what's the software? I think Gus said, oh, we got this OBS. So what do we
Hmm.
need? At that time, I don't have I can't use my son's gaming PC, so I was
Mhm.
using my MacBook. And then I think on our end, Grace's controller was a DDJ 200 who doesn't have a sound card, right?
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
So we figured it out. Remember, Gus, like how can we get the audio out from an
Audio.
iPad, from an
Mm.
iPad? What cables do we need to do, and what are the different splitters so that we
And
can, yeah, we
this
can
is
we
the
can stream
time
it.
this is the
Yeah,
time where there's a shortage of audio interfaces, and it took a while to get cables and stuff like that. So there was a big challenge back then to get started. But I think the team aspect of it, of problem solving, helped you a lot. I know there's a lot of pressure to get it done because you have a scheduled show, but I think there's the team aspect. Hope, well, if we were neighbors, we would probably be
we
just like
probably,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
we were different zip codes, and there's a lot of brainstorming. I remember, like, we need, back in the COVID, that's COVID, right? Everybody's working, so I know the three of us saying, how can I do this? Give us the idea, and then we're gonna do sound check. Can you check this for me if it
Yeah.
sounds great?
Yeah.
And we will just be there, like, to yeah. And that's how they started too. I mean, the thing about there right now, for us is, we're whoever's starting, we're there to support because we've been there, done that. And we have a community that you can lean to. Back then, we don't know anybody. I think the reason why we grew is, Grace decided, let me go out and listen, and then go and meet people, right? She listened for a while. She didn't chat for a long time until say, she chatted and then met people. And then we met Virgil and the gang because we did a raid train, right? And this is where NBHD grew. I remember this because it was my birthday. There was a stream with Grace and decided, let's do a raid train, just us. But Pat, you said, let's do, 'cause that was the war, when the war with Ukraine just
Mm.
blew
Right.
up, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we do a raid train for Ukraine? Right, that's a good idea. Everybody said that. Can we pull it off? Yeah. So we did a 3 day straight off the bat. I said, let's just try it. And we actually pulled it off. Right.
two
That was
weeks
hard though.
planning and
2 weeks planning and like, all right,
and
just do
not
this. And
not knowing many, unlike
not
who we
knowing.
know today. we
Yeah.
we we probably have, our first degree friends, and then a second degree people who know, other people. We were able to form that, and that was the catalyst for what NBHD is today. That
Yeah.
rate train. Yeah.
And then the Maxinos, we don't know the Maxinos. Somebody
Oh
know
no,
them
yeah.
because we know somebody. So we got all invited. I remember Virgil texting, oh, this cousin, your cousin's a best friend of mine. Oh, we know each other. Then that grew. And after that Ukraine raid train, we decided to form MDHD. And here we are right now. So again, similar story with the house cat, and I'm really happy for them now. Big supporters. They also have although their terrain is also same as when NBHD, we don't
Mm.
care. They still support us. They
Mhm.
actually play to start NBHD sometimes, but they're gonna be jumping. Like, look, I know NBHD is every Sunday. We Anybody who has Sunday train, we don't treat this as a competition.
No,
Yeah, if we can like link the trains, we'll do it. We always do that. So it's
that's
really
yeah.
support. Yeah, it's always going to be supporting other. That's our mentality here in NBHD, and that was the house cats. Okay, so after the house cat, actually, and then Pat, you like this episode. Now we got DJ Nix in the mix, right?
The
This
legend.
is where the legend, right? This is where a lot of the conversation about, and Virgil loved this, right? Because I think Virgil remembers this also. This is where the old school verse, just the old the old guard versus the new guard, put it that way, right? We talk about the roots of how people did the grind back then, right? What does it take for you to succeed? I'm not saying next is old. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying like there are different. That back then is different, right? It's just it's the journey that they are going through, and we learn a lot of what Nick's did back in the day. That's why we appreciate on where he is right now, and the grind, right? But another thing that strikes me there also is really the conversation between talent and branding. And Pat, you were there. You know what that is. So I'm kind of like the mediator, because for me there's a balance, right? How Yeah, Virgil, it's a spicy chat because you're always gonna have the new way and the old way, right? So we talk about gatekeeping even at that point. Is there really a gatekeeping on the DJ role, right? And then we're an artist versus an entertainer. Yeah, how do you bridge that gap, right?
Hmm.
What can you say about that episode?
It was, uh, it's a good discussion to have. Uh, Obviously, all of us learn from somebody else. Most of the time, the more seasoned, the more experienced are our mentors, and we learn from them, and then we kind of evolve into our own style. Uh,
Right.
the entertainer, well, like I said, this is a new medium. Twitch is a new medium. You gotta have a performance. You gotta have entertainment value. You gotta bring your your production level to a higher level, but also show your skills on the decks. I'm not a good I don't I'm not a mic user, so for me I gotta perform through my medium, which is digital DJing. uh we Nix has a lot of good points because nowadays it's easier to get started and buy a few pieces of equipment, learn a few things, and then you're good to go. But then again, like I said, you know, the modern times are easier, but they're also better at branding. They're also better at putting out a show, putting out video stuff, putting out their social media is on point, and that's the complete package, and that's what you got to do in this medium, which is content creation. We're all content creators here, and we're not just DJs anymore. So, well, mad respect to Nix and all the guys who came before us. Also, I'm very impressed with the younger new generation of DJs and content creators who are coming in. And as we go along the season, we had people we had Nikid, we had Koshka, we had who else? Cheska and
S-
Liminal
yes,
Faces who
yeah,
all chimed in
Yeah.
to solidify what's needed to be done. And what's
yep,
needed to be done is not just to be able to spin a vinyl record or take up tunes without using your I hate to use that the sync word again, but
we have to say
I
button,
have
man.
to
That's
say it
always
again.
been.
But everyone has
Yeah,
their own opinion, but it was a very welcome episode that he came in.
yeah,
Gus, you should have an opinion on this because you also
yeah,
came from a different time. You had
yeah.
uncles who taught you from the
So,
old
so
school.
yeah. So what's your takeaway on that episode?
It was good. I mean, you learn both the old school and the new school. What I would say, right? But
Yep.
to me, it's a good discussion to have. For me, this discussion is very good if you're on a round table and then you're doing tagay, with
Cheers.
everyone. This
Drinking.
is that's the discussion that you discuss. Drinking, like
Yeah.
yeah,
So no fighting after that. So everybody's drunk. Good point. Very good
yeah,
point. Well, there's always going to be the tension between tradition versus innovation, right? So we respect, the old school DJs because they paved the way,
Mhm.
but we also need to respect that the new school artists are also rewriting the rules,
Mm.
right? And it's good for everybody, right? And for me, both matter, right? And I think the bridge between them is the bridge between them will meet because of how culture is, right? And culture always evolves, right? And that's how you bridge the gap. um Both of them wants to preserve, like the old school, you want to preserve the essence of house music, techno and even underground, right? But you also need to make sure also that's how the old preserve it. You also allow the new people to enter in with new interpretations. And I think that came out not just on Nix's episode, but also on the next couple episodes that we
Yeah.
can discuss more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, some would say it's gatekeeping, but it's not really that. It's just it's just a mutual respect.
Maybe there's just frustration on their side because they had to do all the work. They had to pave the way, like you said, open it up for us younger people and so forth in the younger generation. Maybe there's just some frustration that
And
but
mad respect for that,
yeah,
right? So it's
very
but
very brave to talk about it on the show. Really, I would.
exactly, and I think that's what stood out on that show with Nix is he's not afraid to say it.
Hmm.
And actually next week he's going to be on the show co-hosting, just FYI,
Mhm.
with Mr. DJ Kenny, and we're probably going to talk about this again, so more discussion about it. But that's really that show is all about, and we respect the journey, and we want to shine a light on all the DJs who put in the work. That's
Absolutely.
really the key down. Okay. Now, speaking of that's the old school. Then, ironically, the next a week after that, it was a bunch of new upcoming new school DJs, right? With DJ Techno and Hectoponic, right? Both of them, or probably just Hecto, came from a gaming background, and now they're do IRL shows, right? And especially DJ Techno, right? We actually dove in more into that conversation of the old and the new, but I think Nix was also on the chat when I was doing that, but there was that mutual respect between Techno answering the question of what Nix is asking,
Hmm.
and I think that was a great combination. Do you guys think?
It was because now we have people from both sides. We're in the
Yeah,
middle because we're supposed to host the show.
yeah,
We have people from both sides conversing. It would have been better in a roundtable Tagay version, but I think they brought out good points and possibly agree on many things more than disagree.
yeah. And it probably demolishes that conversation. If gatekeeping exists in Twitch in 2025, right?
Hmm.
I think it's not really not right, and there's been discussion about it many times of how that is. And uh, Blas, are you there? You remember that one or?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
He
was
was
Yeah,
there. I was not.
yeah. So I think you see Hectophonic and DJ Techno, very both of them are multi instrumental
correct. Yep.
DJs too, right? And great to know them, and I think they did very well on a lot of the questions that we asked them of their journey on Twitch, not just their journeys, really more of um just real talk, and even was stories from DJ Techno. I think at some point
Hmm.
he was telling us about the gigs that he's doing like in the middle of the jungle or something like that.
He told us that he was harassed in one of his streams.
Oh, that's another thing
Oh,
also,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, we
yeah,
talk about that, and that just fueled up Gus more because that's another thing we talk about. The
Gus is
challenges, right?
Gus
The
is
negative,
always harassed
yeah,
when
the
he does
negative,
streams.
negative thing about Twitch where he was harassed because he was doing shirtless. I'm really
yeah.
surprised, Gus, you weren't harassed yet. Yeah, so
Everyone
that
harasses Gus.
yeah, and I think he actually told us how he dealt with it, right? And
Yeah.
how it affected him, but he needs to push through with it. And with the
Yeah.
help of the community,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, he was able to, okay, get over it. Not all of the family on Twitch is like that, or they're not family if they're like that, right? But it's just also proves that Twitch is, you have the diversity, but sometimes there's also diversity. You have the what do you call them? The trolls, right? That will
This
really
this is
pull you down.
this is the friendliest platform
It
around.
is.
YouTube is so bad. Facebook is the worst. Twitter is just full of lies.
Mm.
X, whatever you call it now. So Twitch is friendly, very
It
friendly.
is. It is very friendly, and I think it doesn't demoralize somebody, whether you're doing it correct or not. Because I think this is, this what you guys are doing. Everybody who's streaming is already hard enough, undertaking. But with the criticisms, if you just think about it, no, it's not just the streamers, just NBHD as a community alone, right? You guys know what we've been through. Not everything is not, all roses for NBHD. We also have our fair share of people pulling us down. But I think our whole philosophy is, don't think about that. Think about the people that will help us, the people that we will be able to help, and what we can do to the community. Because if you think about all of those, you're not going to survive. Now, we're not going to be here. Even the show, right? We got some criticism about what the fuck is these guys doing, just two to three guys. But I feel like we'll also make a difference, on that. And then having people share their stories, right? And Gus is probably the toughest, right? All three of us, because what he's been doing on those streams, like I don't think I can pull that off, right? Gus is the toughest of the three of us, with all those antiques, I guess.
He is the toughest and the bravest, but you've
And
been you've been in the back of Grace a lot recently. So,
Mhm.
so you're
yeah,
getting there. You're getting there. A few costume changes. Now
yeah.
we're game on. We're
Oh, that's
game on,
so
man.
you're talking about my dancing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
yeah,
go. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. You're
You've
right.
been
I did.
appearing so much, which is people love
Just
it.
yeah.
tell me if it's overkill, though. I want to know.
Overkill. No,
my
but
Uh,
they want to see you.
they
yeah, they
might.
want to see you. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Grace.
need a drone, like a drone that is focusing on you, or like a moving cam that goes through you. Sure.
Okay,
Something like that.
Gus.
I don't know about that.
Let's go
I'm
get
running out of
started with
dance
that.
moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm running out of dance moves. So I'm gonna tell you guys, it's tough, but it actually helps with my back.
You
I
know
telling
what?
Grace.
Those dance moves you're practicing, bring it all out. Movement Festival in Detroit is coming up May 24th. We're going to have a meetup.
Well,
Everyone is invited. We're going to have a flyer up here shortly. We'll
yes.
announce times and where the places where we're going to meet, but please, we'd love to see you all. Movement Festival.
So we
One,
need Mr. Coops. You need what's that to
Do a
practice a
dance,
shuffle.
yeah,
No, a
Mr.
shuffle
Coops will do
first. Yeah,
shuffle
yeah,
dude.
because
yeah,
it's
yeah. A
You and
shuffle because
Gus
you and
and
I
Coop.
gonna practice something. You
you,
have to
you
do
you
something.
you cannot do this and
Gus
Yeah,
and
we have to
and
do
Mr.
something.
Coops are gonna do the
We have to
shuffle.
pass.
They're gonna wear their fishnet tights and all that, and
there you
it'll
go.
be
Yeah.
fun.
We will. Well, Gus, we have time to practice. I'll be before that Saturday. I'll be there Tuesday. So we'll see. We'll
Ah,
We're,
see.
there you go.
we're gonna
Perfect.
be on the back, like and going in front. No.
All right. All right. Well, that's DJ Techno Hectapon. Another great conversation on top of next. Then we went to Utah with our friends, cold storage and infected underground, right? We also have a guest back then that does this. But speaking of a guest back then, he's been asking us to get back on the show. So
Mm.
we're gonna let him back on the show. You guys want to put him in? He actually guested that episode. So we're bringing him back. There he is. You're not frozen,
It's
right?
like it's like a leash. It's like a
I thought you
leash.
were frozen.
You
So
have to ask me back. It's like a
yeah,
fucking leash. I'm
yeah.
loose. I'm loose.
Well,
I'm like a
dude, I'm
dog
telling you.
just waiting to get
You,
out.
but don't let me regret it, though. I mean, but
Oh,
yeah,
you will not regret.
yeah.
Well,
Okay, all
you
right.
might regret a few things after this, but let's fucking go.
All
Let's
right, so
fucking go.
this is gonna be fucking scary, but yeah, we got
Do,
Jay
do,
Nilla back.
do you know Pat? Do you remember DJ Pat asked me to do this segment
This, yeah.
back
So the
in the day,
context would be
right?
in one of the
Yes.
episodes,
Hmm.
because we were discussing the old days. I thought
Yes.
maybe Jay could come up with a back in the day segment.
I believe it was the Deep in the Underground episode, right?
That was the Deep
This,
in the
did-
Underground
Yeah.
episode.
so
Yes.
this is
So
the episode
that's
that we
what we're
talked
talking about.
about.
Cold
Yeah,
storage, cold fucking storage,
infected
and
underground.
infected underground. You know,
Yep.
that's why it
This
was
is this.
called that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we started. You guys is why I'm gonna bring you in because you've been asking us to go and do this segment back in the day. But let's finish the
Uh,
recap and then we're gonna go that back in the day segment. So you
I
wanna
won't waste
join
at
us and
least.
do the
I
recap?
won't waste at least 17 minutes of your time.
What's
We
that?
don't have that
We're
time.
not. We're not. We know. You're gonna waste 70. We're not gonna waste. Nobody's wasting 17 minutes. You're frozen, or is that just your post right now?
Ladies and
All right.
gentlemen, he's back in
He's
Yeah.
back,
time.
back,
He is
back
back
in
in time.
That's his natural post back in the day. But while we wait for Jay to be unfrozen, let's talk about that episode that he's talking about. It's back in the underground. We had two great DJs in the underground scene. Both live in Utah, champions of the underground scene. What we covered there is really how underground is taking over mainstream, like how there's a lot of there's a lot of talks about how underground is the future of underground music and just some spicy insights of the industry in that matter, right? And I think that's also, at least for me, that's also very informative because
Mm.
I learned a lot of, hey, this is what underground is, right? And you DJs totally get that, right? And for them, being there, how great that scene is, the underground scene in Utah. Very, very impressive. I failed to ask them about the episode though, about what's the one I was supposed to ask them about soaking. You guys
What?
say
Soaking?
soaking. Oh, you don't know soaking. All right, this is good. This is good.
Father Damien, this is not
Well,
what we talk about normally.
yeah,
But
if Father Damien that gets here, you have to tell me what to stop. So if you're a Mormon, you never know what soaking means. Okay, soaking. I'll explain. You're a Mormon. There's a concept of soaking, right? So they can't have premarital sex,
Okay.
right? So that's one of the rules. But you can do soaking. So meaning
Like pillow?
soaking. No, no, that's not that. That's soaking. Soaking is basically God. I'm going. Sorry. Just this is informative, right? Soaking is really it's in.
Uh,
But as long as you're not doing any voluntary movement, it doesn't count.
Oh, that's usually what you say when you're dating someone in the Philippines. Like, I'm just gonna put, was that just the
just
tip
the tip.
like that?
No, no, that's
Oh,
different.
come
But it's
on,
not just that.
you
But
just
this,
change it to soaking to tip.
But
no. This one is actually in. As long as you're not
just
Oh
moving,
in
yeah.
and no movement.
it,
But here's
no
the thing.
movement.
Here's the thing, Gus. You ask or they ask a friend, a
A
third party,
friend
to
To move
move the
you?
bed
move
around
the bed
or
around.
jump up and down the
Oh,
bed so that there's going to be sort of a sensational
yeah.
movement.
I learned something
Involuntary
new.
movement.
I learned
So the
something
third
new
person is
today.
doing
Yeah.
the movement, and so there's no sin.
Oh wait. Oh.
Because of Mormons, that's a sin. So you don't. That doesn't count basically.
It doesn't count because you are not
So if you're gonna
voluntarily.
do that, right? The tip is different, right? So this one is like you got it in,
Ooh.
again, blow in the bed or whatever is bouncy. Pick the most bounciest,
And then you
Man.
ask your
and,
best friend
and you
to
ask your
move,
best friend
jump,
to jump, whatever you
do
want to do
whatever.
so you get the
We, we,
movement
we, we
covered.
should have known about this when we were in teenager or something. Man.
Don't tell your son about soaking, dude. That's
So that's
it's gay.
for totally different generation.
So that's really a term, huh? Soaking. You
Yep.
just say
Yep.
For
soaking.
them,
Yep.
it is. Yes.
Yeah. Don't ask the
Okay.
Mormon first Mormon you see. Don't ask that question. That's
Well, learn something
so
new.
you learned something. You
Oh,
see. That's what the show is.
they have so many stories.
They
All the
have some.
ex-Mormon people, they have so
Yeah.
many stories on
What do
their
they
no.
call them when you get out? There's a term for that.
Escape.
Oh, there
No,
is a
no,
term.
no. There's a term. Grace knows that because
Let's
Grace
ask
follow
the
like
chat. Maybe they
yeah,
know.
if you know the term, like where they actually get out of being a merman.
Mhm.
There's a term for that. I can't remember. I think Grace
Wait,
told me once
there's a
that.
series, right? Of
y-
like this, a TV series of
There is.
Mormon.
Real
Yeah.
Housewife of
Salt Lake
Re-
Salt
City.
Lake, Salt Lake City. That's what Grace knows because
no, there's
Grace knows
another
all the.
series. There's another series.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I think. Yeah.
And
Jay,
there's so many podcasts talking about, you know, the escapades of the ex-Mormon. Jay, you're
Hey,
back.
Jay, you know soaking? What the soaking means?
I'm not going to talk about that.
We just talked about it. Too late.
I
That's
like
what enough you know.
I have a lot of friends from Utah. There are certain things you cannot talk about. Okay.
oh, so you don't talk about that? Okay, 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 okay.
If you're a
Believe it or
Mormon.
not, there are things that I actually don't talk about. Believe it or not.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Hey, what's up, compiler? Good to see you, man.
Okay.
So that is you just
Oh,
missed
oh,
you compiler, yeah.
Compiler is my boy. Compiler
All
is
right.
like one of the most awesome Chicago DJs out there right now.
Okay, then
So
you're
follow that
in.
motherfucker. Follow that motherfucker, Compiler.
All right. So Jay, we were talking about on that
Okay.
episode was you
Do you want
co-hosted,
me to just go into it right now? Do you want me to go
the
into it?
back in the day, the back in the day.
Okay, yes. I will I need
All
to
right.
do some
Well,
spots to
I think
get
we
my
should let him do it before
okay.
Uh,
all right. So
he gets
we're gonna
dry.
So
Let's
let's
soak
just
into
do
it,
it.
Mike.
Let's just do it. Let's just do it right now. Let's do it fucking live. Let's do it.
Okay, all right. So we're just gonna say,
okay.
we're middle
Okay.
of, we're in episode 7. Before we go to the rest of the episode, Jay wants to do us this segment for the show called Back in the Day, right? So we're gonna let Jay do this
No.
segment.
I was
No,
asked to do it.
oh, you were asked to
It's
do it,
not
and
that I
you
want to
actually,
do it. I was asked to do it.
so you do, so
And
okay,
you had
and
2 months to
now,
prepare, and
and you have 2 months to prepare.
today's the
Now
day.
we're gonna ask you
All
to
right.
do it.
And
Okay,
you will not be disappointed.
all right. So we're gonna give
I even
Jay.
got my I even put my gamer like mic on. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So no
okay.
no freezing, right? So we're gonna do this. All right. So let's hear it.
Should we
Back
go?
in the day.
Let's just
Here we
Mhm.
go. Back in the
Okay.
shut the
day.
fuck up.
Yep.
Back in the day, haha, you can see my teeth. Anyway, before we go for it, I am not the gatekeeper. Not the gatekeeper. This is
Okay.
just my viewpoint and my perspective only. This is just the way I feel. So I may be wrong. I usually am, right? Okay. This has been dwelling on me for quite a while now. I've been keeping it in, but not very well. It's time to speak up. Here we go. Social media has made everybody lazy as fucking hell. There was a time when people actually went out and danced without staring into a screen or swiping left. Not for the likes, not for the clout, but for the love of music and a spiritual connection to something greater than instant gratification. People used to hit up small clubs, dive bars, dirty basements, abandoned schools, and sometimes a grassy field in the middle of nowhere to find themselves getting lost in a set with world class DJ performing just inches away, just feet away. No light show, no drums, no smoke and mirrors, just pure energy, real connection, and the kind of night you still talk about years later. Now, now everyone waits around for the next mega festival. And look, I'm not hating on festivals. I work them sometimes, quite a few. I help make them happen. But this shift to chasing only the biggest, flashiest moments is straining the life out of the underground. It's not about the journey anymore or even the trip. It's about the clip. Do it for the gram. Do it for the TikTok. Do it for the fucking algorithm. The music business has been reduced to recycled sets, cheap drops, and hype over heart. Meanwhile, the DJs with soul, with something to say, with history and depth, they're getting ignored because they don't care about being influencers. They care about music. And we've been trying. I've been trying. I'm very trying. All we want is a room with 50 to 100 real hits. People who care. People who feel it. Not just pose for it. I've been doing this for well over 30 years at this point. And let me tell you, the game has changed and we must change with the times. What I've seen in the last 10 years alone has been nothing short of a transformation, and not always for the better. I've watched this culture shift from something built on community, passion, real human connection, into something that's been commercialized, commodified, and neutered into fucking content. Real talk, it's pushing kids, it's pushing kids these days off the breadcrumb trail of what the underground is really about.
Oh shoot! You guys hear?
He's
What
in the
happened?
meat of it, and we
He's-
lost.
oh my god! No, he's on a fucking roll on that one.
I was getting ready for
Yeah, a clap.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, right? That's a really strong editorial moment for the guys next door. I'm gonna give a tip of the hat for him on that one. I know there's a lot of talking points there that actually a lot of perspective that I wanna tap in and just listening to that. We'll wait for him to get back and to continue. But what do you guys think? Could you give a yeah, clap of hands there on the chat for Jay
that
Nilla?
is
Look, I know the guy. Some of you know him. He always like those. Those. He's back. He's back.
Yep, there
He's
you
back,
go.
dude. You're on the meat of it.
Can you hear me now?
We
Yeah.
can
yes.
hear you
You
now.
heard-
Oh,
What was the last thing you heard me say?
so I want you to pick it back on that time, that part when you say you've been trying.
I want you to shut the fuck up and listen to everything else, okay?
We are
We can
listening.
go back and examine it all later. So I just need you
But
to be quiet.
The
What was the
stage
last
is
thing you
yours.
heard me
Go
say?
ahead.
dude,
Go
the
ahead.
stage
Go
is
ahead.
yours.
Go
You said
ahead.
you
Go
were
ahead.
doing this for 30 years, and
Okay, I've been doing this for well over 30 years, and let me tell you, the game has changed,
Mhm.
and we must change. We must change. I still have pink cats on my bandana. Anyway, we must change with the times. What we've seen in the last 10 years alone, it's been nothing short of a transformation, not always for the better. I've watched this culture shift from something built on human connection. It's now commercialized, commodified, and neutered into fucking content. Content. Real talk, real talk, real talk. It's pushing kids these days off the breadcrumb trail of what the underground is really about. We need to bring it back. We need to bring it back. Back to the small rooms, the dark basements, the packed mid-sized venues that don't require a fucking payment plan. The energy, the sweat, the respect, the unity, the love, the peace. Some say plur, I say rope. This culture wasn't built on reels or hashtags. It was built on crates of vinyl. It was built on the backs of paper flyers that have voicemail numbers with sketchy directions because nobody had a fucking atlas, not DJ atlas, let alone a motherfucking computer in their pocket. It was built upon a foundational instinct that this is a music that drives you deeper inside of yourself to even understand what it means. It was built on a genuine respect for yourself, your peers, our peers' emotion, and an intuition that we all inherently knew before you even learned how to speak. That's what the music is. It was built on, shall we say, our differences should give us strength. Our differences should make us strong, not weak. Our differences shall build us. The fact that our diversity shall build this scene and this culture and this music.
Are we frozen?
I think that,
Oh.
the strength that does not divide us, that actually unites us, a common belief in an inclusive destiny and a hope for a better world, but always with an eye for the future. It was built on eye contact. See? It was built on bass lines that sent shivers up your fucking spine. It was built on a rush that no human can ever really replace. Back in the day, back in the day, back in the day, back in the day, don't even get me started. Back in the day, there was heart. Who had heart? The promoters. No, I don't even like that word. I checked at the stars, but a huge meteor came and wiped them all out. Um, the architects, the builders, the messengers had heart, and we had heart. There was a heart that beat in dark places like a starved sound trying to get out. It's like a lever that was lost that you had never even met yet. The beat of a new generation of kids born into a land of confusion. That's a fucking record, by the way, by Armando, like Land of Confusion. Okay, never mind. And the internet, same difference. Land of Confusion, it's called the internet. It's the same fucking difference. And streaming, coming of age in a polarized and divided society that will never truly understand us or comprehend that we just yearn to have a pure and spiritual experience in a nation that no longer makes sense. Perhaps the only nation that will accept those who have been lost is House Nation. House Nation. Back in the day, there was a soul in the scene because not everyone understands house music.
Mm.
It's a spiritual thing, a body thing, a soul thing, a soul thing.
Mm.
Much like a rosebud craves water, air, and light, or maybe Boy G craves Olympia. I don't know. Uh, the craving in the soul needs nourishment to flourish into a beautiful flower. Here's the thing about a blooming rose garden: watch out for all the pricks. Back in the day, the visionaries, the seers, the wizards, the DJs, the keepers of time, the flow ploy performers, the hoopers, the glow stick rollers, the shakers, the breakers, the shufflers, the b-boys and b-girls, the slackers, the jackers, the crackers, even the cracker jackers, the twitches, the witches, yes, even the snitches, the poets, the jokers, the smokers, the tokers, and the chin strokers, the taggers, the healers, even the drug dealers, and just the normal old party kids. But I don't know what normal is. Normal is a town in Illinois, okay? All of them, Nate, all of us would be the door that could lead us all back into unlearning everything we ever knew about ourselves. That's the power of the music. What could open the way forward? What would unlock the heart, the soul, and the door? The key I wish I had a key here. I like don't have enough props. What is the key that unlocks the door to the heart? You are the key. You are the key. So, if you feel me, if you've been missing that feeling, let's make some noise. Let's build something together again. Let's stop waiting for permission. Let's take it the fuck back. I'm out.
All right. Good. Let me give some. Yeah, can we just do a hand clap? For Jane, give him a hand, guys. So that was deep. I'm gonna say though, right? That is very deep, Jay. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. How about you, Pat?
It it surely came from his heart,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and I don't know the answer. Where do we find the key? I think
The key is us. What he's saying.
I think secret signal is one of the
I
keys
said,
to the future.
I said, holy shit, I'm showing my face here. I
No,
And you
now,
free.
now that's
Now
a
you're
drop.
not.
Now, yeah,
You're
yeah. Now you're not. Now it's frozen. Oh my god. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jay, for sharing that back in the day. I think that has a lot of meat in it, and people will need to digest that. And when they play the show again, the replay, I think a lot of people will be inspired. Of what Jay have said. Right? It's a combination of a lot of different things. Right? He talk about. I'm taking notes actually while he's saying this
Good,
because it's a
good.
lot, right? Because
Mm.
Mhm.
it's really, first of all, it's personal, right? Um, for him, I think he talked about the social media shift, right? From the swipe culture versus to the spiritual connection back in the day, right? Um, like how do we balance, I will say the marketing aspect of it versus the memory making. That's what for me. That's what he said that struck me, right? The lost art, right? That's happening, between talk about the dirty basements over big stages, right? The lost art of the underground experience, right? Talk about the magic of old school underground versus what we're doing right now, right? Because those events are small, but they're intimate, but they are unforgettable, right? We talk about the recycled sets and quick wins, right? It's the algorithm of how you do it on Twitch versus over the artistry, right? The DJs feeling forced to perform with clips instead of creating that journey. And that was really inspiring also. And what does even integrity look like right now in the digital world of DJing, right? Respecting the soul versus substance, right? There are still DJs out there with a message, right? um, Educating audiences, appreciating the depth and not just the hype. I think the other one that really resonates with me is the call to rebalance the culture. Let's stop chasing only the clip, right? Yeah, I'm Jay. I'm taking notes. What can we do as DJs, promoters, right? He hates the word promotion and fans to recenter the music. Oh, here it comes, Jay. Oh, nice one again. But that's what I saw, and it's a good segue before we go back to the episodes. That's actually great. I don't know about you guys, but for me, those are the things that get stuck out on when I'm hearing him talk about these.
Gus, I'm
Yeah, man.
speechless. What
Yeah,
can you say?
it's
It's deep.
everyone's speechless.
Yeah, I'm speechless too. It's deep. Yep.
Yeah, they're very very deep. And thank you, Jay Nilla, for back in the day segment. I think he wants to tell us that he missed those days, right? He's been
If
in the
if
industry for a while.
if you close your eyes and listen to what Jay said, you can actually go back in time to those dingy clubs or any type of venue you've been to and remember how it was back then. And Jay, I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this. It was an idea off the top of my head, and you were the willing victim. Like you said, it's not just the journey anymore, it's all about the clicks.
I am here.
Yeah. Oh, you miss,
I am here.
how we're praising you,
I
dude.
am
Because
here.
We're
everybody
praising you, man.
we're praising you, and then I did the
Listen. Think about this last part again. I'll say it again. I will say it again. Back in the day, the visionaries, the seers, the wizards, the DJs were all DJs. The keepers of time, the flow ploy performers, the hoopers, the glow stick rollers, the shakers, the breakers, the shufflers, the b-boys and b-girls, the slackers, the jackers, even the cracker jackers, the twitches, the witches, yes, even the snitches, the poets, the jokers, the smokers, the tokers and chin strokers, the taggers, the healers, and even the drug dealers, and just all the all the fucking party kids. I would rather have 20 people, 20 real people in the room with me than 2,000 fake motherfuckers. You know,
no. I think I think we got the message,
all of
right?
them, all of them, all of them. Listen, all of them. It's up to us now. It's up to us. You know. So
Okay.
what? Who could open the way forward? Who could unlock the door, the soul, the heart, and the key? It's the key. Guess who the key is? You're the key. You're the fucking key. Yeah.
We are the key.
Yes. It's
We are
up
the
to
key.
us now. Some
We are
say
the key.
plur, I say slurpee. You know what slurpee means? Safety, safety, love, unity, respect, peace, and you. You the Y is you.
I
Slurp.
like that.
That's my
I
version
like
of like
Gus is
slurpless.
Gus
It
is
should
Should
be
be a
impressed by
t-shirt.
that.
slurpee.
Should make it into a t-shirt.
All right. Well, Jay, thank you so much for sharing that, and we appreciate
All right.
you.
I'm a little
And I think
fired up. I'm a little fired up because I'm actually this is probably the last time I'm going to appear on here.
why is that?
Because I've been banned on Twitch.
You're
Banned?
banned on
Wait.
Twitch. Why were you banned?
I'm not going to get into the reasons
Okay.
because I have too much fucking truth. Apparently,
Okay. So if you don't want to, okay, well, we'll leave it at that. But thank you again for sharing that on this show. And this is going to be stamped forever because it's going to be on YouTube. You can hear the whole speech of what Jay uh, has has said, and I think a lot of people are
you
going to be
can
fun.
find me on you can find me on fucking Discord.
Okay,
Uh,
go get Jay on Discord. All right,
Finally.
thank you, Jay. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you for that back in the day segment, and thank you for accepting Pat's challenge. We appreciate you
I'm just
so
here to
much.
like stir shit up. I'm just here to stir shit up, and that's it.
Okay. All right, we'll go now. Gonna go back to the segment when we talk about the half of that. So we're now going episode 8, right? Episode 8, I think, Gus, for you, episode 8 is um uh with Amy Alexander and Koshka, right? So I call those I call that episode boss DJs on Twitch because the way they attack the questions that episode, right? Amy Alexander, Berkeley music certified producer,
mhm.
creating her own Bolt Baby Records um, label, How about that? Right. And now you have Costco's taking, over LA, with her own style. Isn't that amazing how we have all of these lady streamers who are just really killing it, right? And then to really, I think for me, a lot of questions there have come up with regards to, say, how they navigate through not just Twitch, but just this male dominated industry and how
Mhm.
they took over. I think, Pat, you're not there, but I think they showed, Pat, especially Amy. I mean, just conquering Twitch alone. I think she has a plan. She has a plan, like like a meticulous plan on how she's gonna do things differently. That's just very inspiring, and I think it's inspired Koshka to do that. And then
Yeah,
because Koshka was pushing for a partner
yeah.
during that time, or even now, right? But it's just amazing how they can do it, right? Um,
I th-
and Gus,
last
go
yeah,
ahead, go ahead, but
I think last season we challenged ourselves into how can we get more of the women, the female DJs to be on the show and share their stories.
mhm.
And I think we reached that, that point where we can attract guests. And these two, if we had left them in a room without us, it would have been very very constructive. Not that we were
Correct.
destructive of their,
That's true
but I
though.
thought
I
I
mean,
thought the two of them
Yeah, they can.
could
can run the
help each
show.
other. Yeah,
Yeah.
they can run the show. It could be an entire. It could be the same format of TGND,
the
but
the,
them
the
running.
gals next door then. It's the gals next door.
I
Because
wasn't
but
there. I wasn't there, but I was listening. Gus was
but
there. Maybe he has some thoughts.
Gus,
No, it was very inspiring to
you
me that segment or that show that we have, right? Learned a lot of things. Yep. And you can see from both Amy and Koshka that yep, they handled it very well. Even answering the questions are very like they are thinking about it and before even answering it, right?
Yeah.
They just
So
don't
we talked
spit it
about
out.
packaging your show, having
Mhm.
the visuals, having the music, having
mm,
your studio set up right, your audio set up right. These two are the perfect example. If you are just starting in this crazy world of content creating, go to check out their channels. They, they
yeah.
do it right. They don't overdo it. They don't over talk.
Mm.
Especially Amy Alexander, she would only use the mic when it's super necessary.
Mm,
They're just, if you want a template, go visit their channels.
yeah. And she's been killing it right now too, right? And we all know that, thanks to Grace for really finding her. And Grace is really good on finding all this talent for NBHD, right? The ones that got it, right? Not that we only want people like that. I think it's more of a community also, but there are people who rarely come up, like, like, holy shit, this girl has it, right? Very good conversation, and she handled it well. She actually, we actually talked a little bit about Father Damien too at that point, and she put a reel on YouTube and Instagram about that discussion with Father Damien, which is
Oh,
kind of
cool.
hilarious.
Gotta
Yeah,
look back and check that
yeah.
out.
So he posted a snippet of the show where we were talking about, how Father Damien always comes in the show, wherein it's either the song is something with a curse in it, or you're talking
Yeah.
about something that Father Damien should not be hearing. And he
Mm.
always got the perfect timing. And it happened also on our channel. Like, Father Damon's always gonna come in and when Grace is playing some this nasty language on nasty words on the song that he plays. Like, shit, I'm sorry. It's sorry, Father Damon. Interesting. And then again, perfect title on that. If you go to YouTube on that episode 8, we said it's boss women on Twitch because they're really the boss.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And then we go back now to two DJs between Nikid and Super X, right? I think, Gosh, you're not there. I think this me and DJ Pat on
Mm.
that. These are two DJs, two different cities, but two wildly different styles, right? Nikki from Portland, very high energy, tech house, and you got Super X from Philly, right? Multi instrumentalist, genre fluid DJ, and creator of the global cyberpunk festival. I think they both have the same vibe, but just different personality. Also, they all came from a gaming background too, and in the way they handled Twitch. We talk about again the new uh, upcoming DJs and how they want to approach it differently compared to the old school DJ, right? They're big in the community. They want to promote their community, right? We talk about a lot of that. Common ground is just community love, and also the different styles of it, right? And we also talk about the challenges on Twitch, right? The negativity of handling the thing about community building. You have the pros and you also have the cons and the challenges. Meaning, you always and they taught us how to navigate with the challenges, the negativity, and a lot of those, they all to what they're building on Twitch. Pat, what do you remember on that
I
on
just
that
I
episode?
just remember Nick Kid talking about the smoking part.
The smoking part,
Smoking.
which which oh, that's yeah.
No,
Y- yeah.
seriously. This is again one of the informative episodes that we have this year. Um,
But I guess what struck me most there is the how they answered the questions from the chat,
right,
like from the
right.
old school DJ, and how they handled that and how they answered it. These are two late 20-year-old, you know,
Oh, young but super mature in terms
young but
of
super
music
mature of
in
how
this
they want to
industry.
answer it, and
Yeah.
then and just for example, with Super, what he wants to do, it's very clear. I want to do this, and this is what I'm going to do.
Mm.
And it's just very inspiring, right? We want all of our kids to grow up like that, and
Mm.
I think that's something that you should be proud of. All right. Hey, infected underground. Hey, Dale, is that you? How's it going? You missed the soaking part, dude. I think you avoided it. So we talk about your episode just before this. It was great, But we talk about how informative that is, being the champions of the underground scene. Thank you again for joining. So that now with Naked and Super X, so we talk about the difference between their two cities, right? Oh, I know
Right.
about your pot. You talk about the pot, right?
Talking
With
about the pot.
Naked,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
So whereas in Philly it's not legal, and then on their end it's legal. When we talk
Portland's
about the
legal. Philly not.
Portland's Philly's not legal, it just sucks, that
Mm.
there it is. But so that's Naked and Super X, and then episode 10, we got the big house producers, right? We got Phil in Chicago. We got Frank Amore in Hawaii and DJ Big C. Here I have both of you are not there, I think,
Yeah.
right? I got actually Virgil to
Where's
co-host and Mike Freak, which is
ah
Thank you,
perfect.
Virgil. Thank you, Mike Freak.
Yeah, Mike Freak was, we all know, it's just Mike Freak, just the house producers who collaborated with the big names out there. He actually helped on a lot of the questioning here, how the grind is for Frankamoto, Big C, and Philly Phil, FU Media, and how they produce the music. What is that? How fun it is, but also we talk about how they're doing it for fun and not for the money, because they said there's really no money
mm.
on producing,
No.
unless of course you really hit big, but that's very rare. Even Mike Rick said he got royalties or whatnot, but it's just the grind. Like for people who aspiring to produce, create their own label, right? They create their own label and get music. There's a grind behind that. But one common thing there's that they said, they're not doing that to make money, but more of to get their music out there. That's the story. Yes, Feel the Funk Records. That's the story they want to do. If you actually want to get some of your house music out there, let us know. We can connect you with Feel the Funk Records, with DJ Big C and Frank Amoto. I think they're gonna help everybody. there. But we talk a lot of, the different styles, how they got into it, what does it take to do this, how to be successful, right? And Mike Freak really get a lot of good insights there
Mhm.
because he's been on the block and he did the grind. So that's a great episode for a lot of house music producers out there. Right. And it was fun. It was fun getting them on the call. And then we talk about, a couple of spicy stuff, the community or whatnot. A little bit of the sync button too.
Mm.
I think the sync button has been touched even with Dale's episode. That it's always been a fun discussion when we talk about the sync button. Now we go to episode 11 now. It's that one now is, I think, one of Grace's favorite. Not because of the topic, but more of how laid back it is. And we talk about this heavy discussion about producing, the
Mhm.
journey on Twitch, the grind. But with DJ Big Ben and Miss Julia, it's just how they found their life revolving on Twitch, which is a good thing. That's why I named that. I think tweet eat Twitch, eat sleep Twitch repeat,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
their story is, gosh, you were there, right? And it was actually a fun conversation. Their story is this two husband and wife who are both DJing on Twitch. They're not really going out, and they got ding from some of their friends outside, and they found their friends on Twitch, which is very inspiring. Like friends, like they said that Twitch actually helped me. And again, this is another scenario where Twitch not saved their lives, but more of like they found their life in Twitch. That's all they do, because they said they meet people, authentic people on Twitch, which is true. And they, and they just go Twitch, both of them, right? Big Ben also does that. He makes maple syrup, right? If you're talking about that, and this is where JFP, again, they're both from
Yeah.
Canada, so we had to invite JFP to co-host, and we have all this discussion about the dynamics of husband and wife on Twitch, which is I can relate also. I'm not with me and Grace, so there's some similarities there. There's some fun conversation there. We talk about our in-laws. We talk about the kids, our kids, right? How they're growing up. I think that stood out also for me, because that discussion on Beyond the Neighborhood there is talking about how different the kids are.
Yeah.
And how our kids are this generation, and you can't compare. You can't say I'm tougher because I live on that generation, but you have to analyze, what what they're going through right now, in that. I'm not sure if you guys have watched this show on Netflix. It's called Adolescence, right?
Mm.
Mm.
I wish I could have watched that before that show, because we talk about the kids, and what struck me on that show, if you guys can watch it, is how the kids right now, like bullying right now, is so different, that it has more reach, because you're not just getting bullied with your school or your community, but with
Mhm.
social
It's
media. It's
24/7.
hard for them. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah.
It's all over the world, and it's always there, and it's hard for them. That's why we may say, sometimes they're saying that the kids right now are
Or not tough.
weak, are soft,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they are soft, or that mentally weak is because of the things that they have to endure,
Mm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Agree.
So
Compared to
I
us.
I
Yeah,
started coaching again last year,
guys. Yeah,
and this time soccer. And I've coached every generation. I've coached boomers. I've coached Gen Xers like us. I've
mm.
coached millennials.
Oh, I'm a
And
millennial. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm
I know you are. And then we have the Gen Z, and I'm coaching Gen Z/Gen Alpha now. It is a totally different generation. It's not that the toughness that we had before is different from the toughness that they have to come
Yep,
up with. It's no longer sports is no longer just the physical, but also the psychological.
yep, yep.
And I have to, together with my the other coaches in the staff, and this is true anywhere in the world. We have to adjust our mentality, our mindset on how we teach kids nowadays.
Mm,
So very, very relatable. I haven't watched that. I will. That's on the list.
you
I
got to
still I
watch it.
still have kids in at the Gen Z, Gen Alpha level, and it's a continuing process of learning how to deal and how to relate to these children. They're still children. They're still babies. I We have 17-year-old, 18-year-olds on the team, but they're still babies. We have to handle them in a way that's they're fragile, but we want to strengthen that fragility to prepare them for what's there to come.
Yep.
And it's so
And
hard. It's so
it's hard.
you have employees who are much younger than you that have to navigate the world today, the internet, the society. It's gonna be tough. It's tough
Yeah.
for us, but it's tougher for them because there's so much expectations. There's so much challenges coming up.
I I think that will give, for me, that was the last straw. I've always been in that, midway of, do I make them
Try to be
tough?
tough. Yeah,
Yeah, do make them do it. But after watching the show, I'm thinking like, okay, now I totally understand.
you
Like
understand.
even, yeah, even with I recommend it. It's on Netflix called
Mhm.
Adolescence. It just makes me think about, not just my kids, but also at work. To your point,
Yeah.
other people reports to me, and that right now you have to have your own style, right?
You're gonna have employees who are Gen Alpha in 5 to 6 years who are gonna come in your company and work for you. You have to be ready too.
Yeah.
They have to be ready for you, but you have to be ready
You
for them
you
too.
have to be ready, and which is true, right? So we need to account for that. And Gus, must watch. Check it. You're probably gonna cry. I not cry, but kind of, because as a father, because there's a certain being a father is just gonna help you a lot. I know you're dealing with other shit. I think you should fucking watch it.
Gus has two Gen Zs in the house,
Yes,
so
two Gen
maybe
Zs. You have to watch it so you understand them. Right? It's not comparing, how you've been raised or been growing up. It's different. So that's really what stood out on that, and that's probably why Grace said that's one of her favorite shows. It's just because she can relate. That discussion that happened there, between the husband and wife of Big Ben and Miss Julia. Then we went to a really fun, different topic with Jessica and Liminal Faces, right? And this is where,
secret signal.
yeah, the secret signal. These two are
Yeah.
really redefining, again, a bunch of young hungry kids who want to redefine, not music, but just redefine an approach on how they
Redefine the
want to do this. Yeah,
experience.
yeah, that, okay,
Make it
redefine.
more dynamic instead
Right.
of a screen in front of you.
Yeah, it's the rise of IRL gigs from the start, from the beginnings of virtual engagement like Twitch, right? What started in Twitch as as just a show, translate it into a real world booking, right? We talk about how they can use that knowledge to get out there, right? Twitch is becoming just basically a launching pad, and then after that it will resume as a stage, which Cheska Tunes is actually a testament of that,
Mhm.
right? Because we did not know. We always thought Cheska was playing gigs or gigs
Mhm.
before when he's opening those shows in Detroit. What that show told us, it's she started on Twitch, and then that's the launching pad for her to do it, right? From Twitch to IRL. That's the Twitch to IRL pipeline. And I think I made like a term there from, what did I say? From IRL
To
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 you,
your
from URL to
URL, URL
IRL,
to
right?
URL.
IRL. Yeah.
And I also, and they posted something on Instagram also, because I kind of told them that what you have is really a boiler room in a bottle, right? Because that's
Yeah.
also one thing that I dubbed them, or we dubbed them, that they can do. So it's just interesting. You have to follow these two streamers, Cheska and Liminal Faces, because I think they're onto something. right?
I'm excited for Secret Signal actually.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Collaboration,
that
experimentation.
that initial show in Detroit at the terrarium,
Mm.
what a great idea. I mean, sort of like a boiler room, but then there's also the Twitch element, and then just it's hard to explain. It's better if they explain it to us. But they're on, like you said, they're on to something, and I'm excited to see.
So, so let you guys know, since Super Exa was part of that, they'll probably do something the same on Saturday here in Philly. Grace and
Mm.
I are going.
There you go.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Cool.
there is this one show that got canceled that they're all in, this oldest Twitch DJ artist. I'm not gonna name it because it's very controversial.
Mm, know
That
what
was
you're
supposed to
talking about.
happen somewhere in New Jersey. That's all I can say. Everybody, I think, have their plans ready to go to Philly or somewhere close to Philly.
Uh,
That show got canceled, so why not? So they booked this very intimate venue, very intimate show, small, right? I don't even know where it is. I Super got me the address because I said I'm going. Grace and I are going, so I got tickets. So they're probably gonna do something similar. So I'll let you guys
Jay,
know what happened.
Jay, this might be the key. This
This,
might
the,
be it.
the key. This is the
This might
key,
be it,
right?
Jay. This might be it.
So we'll be meeting a lot of Twitch fans. I'm surprised actually who's going there because every time I say we're going, like, oh, you go, I'm going, I'll see you there. So, I mean, I'm gonna wear my NBHD hat. We're gonna
nice.
rep NBHD there, and hopefully, I think it's not hopefully, I think it's gonna be a fun time, and I'll let you guys know in the show next week how that is.
Mr.
It's
Coops, knowing
Saturday.
you, I'm sure you're gonna snag a couple guests for the show.
I'm
A couple guests from the show, possibly, right? Because
Who
we
knows?
we actually have people. I'm gonna see people on that show on that event who guested on the show.
Okay, there you go.
There's a bunch of them, right? So and they're excited. Hopefully, Oh, here we go. Nipple syrup, Mr. Nipple Syrup. We just missed
Ah,
your episode, Big Ben. But uh, that will be fun. So that's on Saturday. I'll let you guys know.
exciting. We'll talk about it Monday.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then we go to the last week's episode with Bex from Chicago and Militia, right? Two women blazing their own paths. Both of them have food intolerance, which is funny because we didn't expect of them. But similar to the experience with Koshka and Amy Alexander, these two are really hitting it off on Twitch. Again, another testament of how, excuse me, lady DJs are gonna be hitting on Twitch, right? They're having their different journey, the struggle between being a woman in the DJ world, overcoming criticism, and building the community. We talk a lot of those, and Bex is close to being partner, and Militia starting. Also want to get to that. I think we
Mm.
talk about again community and how deep their involvement in Twitch and how they want to grow, right? And how they found love just doing on Twitch, which is not their original purpose of going to Twitch, right? It's just they just happen to do it, and they're also getting IRL gigs after that, which is great, right? So I think with all of our episodes, there's a common theme. With these ladies doing that, the common theme really is how Twitch is shifting some of the DJ culture. You might not like it or not, but I think that's there, right? You now get this talent, right? The rise of these IRL gigs, right? From some of these, ideas from Twitch, right? And how Twitch now is becoming as the new underground, for lack of a better word,
It's the
right? I
new
mean,
underground that leads to IRL.
to
Some
IRL. People may not like that, but that's a possibility, right? And then how community is huge, and community having a huge community means you have your reach already, you get the network, and I think that is a common theme on all, not just for these ladies but everybody on Twitch, and we told all that story, and I'm very proud to be a part of that, right? the story between like a husband and wife who's just enjoying and loving what they're doing and also listening to great music and meeting people, to producers who want to go to a big reach, right? That diversity, right, for this just first half, you would say this is only the first half of the season two, is awesome. I mean, I'll be honest, I really don't know how I got how I got to that point inviting them. And I think them saying yes to tell the story is amazing, right? Gus, I know. What can you say about that? You, I'm again. Modesty aside, right? I'm proud that we were able. The guys next door were able to tell those stories.
Yep, it's good. I mean, it's definitely season two is very different from my perspective, right? So season one, we tried to even go out of Twitch, right, to get different topics, but we didn't know that staying in
It's there.
Twitch itself, it's there. You don't.
Yes.
It's not just DJs. I mean, they have a life. They, yeah, it's yeah, good.
That's a very, very good point. Like, we thought that to get topic. And one of the hardest thing I think on doing this podcast that the three of us learn, right, is you have to have the right content, right? The topic, right? That's always the hard part. But I think what makes it easy for us is having the right guest to do that and extracting that from the guest to tell a story. And the formula is the same.
Yeah,
Everybody has a
the the
story to tell.
formula of the most successful podcasts are week to week. It's the same flow,
Mhm.
but it's a different story.
Hmm.
People come back because they know what first hour they know what they to expect. Second hour they know what to expect. At the end of the podcast, they know what to expect. But then the story changes, and that's the formula. And I think you got it. Kudos to you. Also, it's not easy to find guests who are willing to sit and chat with us. Who we are strangers to them,
We went, yeah,
but
well, trust
Yeah.
us.
they're
So
coming
we're gonna
in.
do that.
They're
Yeah,
coming in.
exactly. Yeah,
And
that's the hard.
you don't plan way ahead of time, right? You don't invite 2 months in advance.
12 months in advance.
You're
Yeah,
like
on-
you just go with the flow, and whoever is relatable, you invite, and most of
Mhm.
the time they
yeah,
say
I will say that's just pros and cons in that one, but I
there's pros
try
and
to get it.
cons.
Yeah, to get ahead of it. But yeah, sometimes I would say though sometimes the quick ones are the ones surprises us, right? But just knowing them, you have to know them, right? It doesn't matter if they're partners, it doesn't matter if they're new to
No,
Twitch. They have a story that people will listen to. That's what we understood, right? It's not that because hey, I'm gonna listen to this podcast because uh this famous streamer is there. It's just because I did to the podcast because I want to know what the story of this person, and then we're gonna try to get that out. Right, you're always gonna be the sync button discussion. You're always gonna be the dumb questions, but that's part of it, right? That's what makes it fun, and I think that's why we're doing it, making it fun. And I hope everybody who's listening, not just here on this, even on the replay, reach out to us. We will tell your story. And there's a few people who actually reach out to me and say, I want to be on the show because I think they have story to tell. And I already booked the next 3 weeks,
oh, good.
um, possibly the fourth week. But let me know if somebody, people who want to be in the show, and this could be a fun time. Whoever's on been the show, Kat is here, Dale is here, Virgil, Big Ben. It's a fun time, right? It's just 2 hours of your time on a Monday to hang out with people. Think about it, that you met these people somewhere, and it becomes just a great conversation about things, right?
And we
That could lead
appreciate
to
them
anywhere.
for tuning in live on a Monday. They do it
That's
live.
always been hard,
They
right?
sacrifice doing other stuff in the house, chores, watching TV, playing sports,
Absolutely.
streaming on their own.
Yeah, they could have
Everyone who
streamed on their own, but
we
yeah,
appreciate you for being here live. That means so much to us.
yeah, it's meeting these people, and we got. I'm also proud of. I think we found new friends too, right? I feel like when you see them in person,
There's a
even with
connection.
yeah,
There's a
even at two
connection.
hours. If
Yeah.
I go to Utah right now, see Dale and I are gonna go hit it downtown, right? As long as Jace allows me to get drunk, but I know Dale is gonna bring me, and cold storage is gonna get me to these great places, and then we all do, right? And I think that's the for me that's really the amazing part, right? We know people in every town right now, right? That we could hang out, and just that 2 hours with them, like the authenticity is there. That's what makes this show thanks, right? And damn, the no dumb question. There's one thing I want to do more probably on
Improve,
the
yeah.
second half. Not improve. It's just I challenge you
To
people
make it
to
more spicy.
make it more
Make it
spicy,
more
right? No,
spicy.
okay, not political. I get that. I always go there, but damn it, just get it out there. I think it's your chance. Just to let you guys know, this is what we tell all the guests before the show starts. We have a mic check. We talk to people. We tell them, "Hey, no dumb question. You have to answer the question. No buts. No nothing. It's contractually you're obligated. You have to answer that question." But so far, everybody's being playing safe. I cannot ask the questions, so I
Jay,
let you
Jay,
guys.
Jay, if you want to come back and talk about your Twitch ban, we can talk about it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, yeah,
Jay's still
yeah.
there. Jay's
So,
still
so
there.
now,
Yeah,
all right.
bring
So
him in.
I'm gonna bring Jay back right now.
There you go.
No
There
dumb
you go.
question. Just one question. Why? This is what I said. Jay, why were you banned on Twitch?
You're on, Jay.
Jay is not gonna answer it. Okay, all right. See, he got a pass. It's not a guess. It's just like he's our he made a speech. So
He's
Jay, thank
typing.
you for.
He's typing.
Yeah.
He's
So he's not
typing.
gonna tell anything.
If anyone
Right.
knows how to unban this person, this gentleman, please help us.
Because he can't stop talking. That's funny. Infected.
What
Oh
you
god.
want me to say? You want me to say right now?
Yeah.
Do we have time? Like, take the director. We have time over to 10:28. We only
Uh,
got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Go ahead.
Coops,
Yeah.
Coops, 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 Coops.
Yes.
Shut the fuck up, Coops.
Go. Talk.
That was the wrong question. You asked me the wrong question.
Then don't
Uh,
answer it.
there's no dumb question though.
No
So
dumb is no dumb question
yeah.
time. There's no dumb questions. That's the whole premise of the show, of the segment.
So are you gonna
Uh,
answer it or not?
You're
Or
not
we'll
gonna
just
answer it.
sweep it under the rug here.
Yeah, we're just gonna.
My attorney, my attorney has advised me to have no opinion whatsoever about that.
Okay.
Attorney. Wow.
Fifth
All right.
Amendment or whatever amendment.
All right. So you executed that right. Okay.
You
All
know
right.
what?
I'm
For
gonna
the
respect
record,
that.
for the record, for the record, for the record, Coops fucked up. Coops asked the wrong question.
I fucked up.
So what's the right question?
Okay.
I fucked up. What did I
As a
fuck?
guest co-host of the show,
Wouldn't
how
you
would
like
you?
to know?
Well, that's the whole thing, right? That's why I'm asking people. Ask the
You can
question. No
only
dumb
ask me.
question.
You can only ask me one question that I will
He's-
actually answer.
You have to think of that question. Mr. Cook.
That's a fuck. Now you're making me guess. Like, how do
Guys, we
I?
have a
How would I
minute to
know?
go.
There's
We have
only
a
one.
minute to go, and we are
I,
doing
we're
the
not
I,
gonna
I
answer this
review.
question.
kind of feel like I answered a lot of questions. Just
Now he froze again. This is perfect timing. This is so classic.
That's a good question to ask. Why do you keep freezing?
He left us hanging again, folks. So oh my god. All right, that's
Just
classic.
ask
Right?
yourself the question, Jay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
I mean
ask
that's it.
something.
I
Maybe
wonder
that's the
why he
but,
question.
freezes.
but I think everybody got it, right? Those are the questions, the kind of questions I want you guys asking our just people are afraid to ask. But
Understood.
and
Understood.
this is
We
all
won't
right.
hold back. We won't hold
We
back the
won't.
next
We
time.
no holding back. So
Gus, Father
challenging
Damien
people.
is waiting.
Fathers,
Ooh.
except when Father Damien is our guest. Please, guys, right? That's the only time that
Gus,
we're probably gonna
No,
can
we
that
can.
segment.
Gus can ask the shower question.
Yeah,
Like,
That's it.
yeah, we
am
can
I
ask
supposed to
him.
shower
We
or
have
not?
to make sure we're not gonna get banned by Twitch, but we're not gonna be absolute.
No, it will be great. He will.
Oh, it's
I'm
no
gonna
altar
ask
boy.
Father
Yes,
Damien
Virgil. No
like
altar boy
yeah.
questions. Oh my God, Virgil, you're gonna get us in trouble.
Oh, okay. That's a good
Oh,
point, though.
Gus has
Oh
Yeah,
Gus
my
has
God.
ideas.
All right.
but that's a
Well,
good
guys,
topic, though. Is it like it's
be prepared for that.
It is
Gus,
a good
on
topic.
that episode, yeah, I'm gonna promote the shit out of it. You're the one, doing all the talking.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out of
Well,
here.
guys,
okay?
thank you so much. Right, appreciate it. That's the recap for this half of the season, and thank you for everybody who guested, who's listening, who supported the show, and that watch every single episode. I think Virgil's one of those. Thank you, Virgil. Appreciate it a lot, buddy. Uh, please keep supporting us. We're gonna do this. We're gonna we're gonna fucking do this until we don't have any more stories to tell. But that's not gonna happen because there's always story to tell. Thank you again, everybody. I'll see you guys around, and
You
we're gonna make it sweet. Thank you. These are the guys next door, where the talk is cheap and the laughs are priceless. Appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of the week. See you guys. Thank you so very much. Bye.
bye.
Super. Let's go to Super. Oh, we got Nick's too. Oh no, Nick's already 2000, so he doesn't need us.
Yeah,
Wow.
we will be
2000.
swept.
You will be
under the
swallowed
rug.
there.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
you
be
know what?
swallowed.
Militia is there. Militia. Let's do militia.
Let's do it.
Thank you all. Thank you all.